All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most powerful tools in computing, Linux shell scripting. Get ready to learn how to teach your computer to do your boring work for you. I mean, think about it. All those digital chores, organizing hundreds of photos, renaming a bunch of files, or maybe running that same report every single morning. It just eats up your time, right? What if there was a better way?
Well, guess what? There is. And that is exactly what a shell script is. Think of it like a recipe. You write the instructions just once, and your computer can follow them perfectly every single time. It's about getting rid of all that repetitive busy work for good.
But of course, to write these recipes, we've got to learn to speak the computer's native language. So let's get into it and learn how to talk directly to the heart of the operating system.
You know that black box with the little blinking cursor? The one that maybe looks a little intimidating? That's the shell. But it's not scary. It's incredibly powerful. It's a direct line to your computer's brain, a place where you can give it precise instructions without clicking through a million menus. This is where the real work gets done.
So how do we actually speak this language? Well, it all starts with simple, powerful words that we call commands. Just think of them as action words, as verbs for your computer. And look how simple these are. ls just lists what's in your current folder. cd lets you change directories or move into a different folder. mkdir makes a new folder, and cp, well, it copies a file. See, each command is a small, sharp tool, kind of like a single knife or whisk in the kitchen.
Okay, now this is where the real magic happens. It's called the pipe. This little vertical line lets you chain your commands together. So you could list all your files with ls and then immediately pipe that list over to another command that sorts them, or maybe another one that counts them, all in one go. This is how we combine simple tools to do some seriously complex stuff.
So we've got our ingredients now, these commands. It's time to put them all together into a single file. Yep, it's time to write our first recipe.
So what even is a shell script? You might be thinking it's some super complicated thing, but it's not. It's literally just a plain text file. That's it. You write down the commands you want to run and the order you want to run them. The shell just reads your file from top to bottom and does what it says. Simple as that.
And building your own automation is a pretty straightforward four-step deal. First, you just write your commands in any text editor. Second, you save the file, usually with a .sh at the end. Third, and this is important, you make it executable. You're basically just telling the computer, hey, it's okay to run this as a program. And finally, you run it. That's it. You've just built your first little piece of automation.
Now, just like a recipe might call for 1 cup of flour, our scripts use things called variables to hold information. We could create a variable called guest and set its value to Katie, just like you see here. Then, later on, our script can use that variable to print a custom welcome message. The best part? If the next guest is named Alex, we only have to change it in one spot. But you know, a really good recipe isn't just a rigid set of steps. Sometimes you need to adapt. What if you run out of an ingredient? Well, it's time to give our scripts a bit of a brain so they can start making decisions on their own.
So how do we do that? How do we tell our script to, say, check if a file already exists before it tries to copy over it? Or how do we tell it to go through every single file in a folder, one by one, until the job is done? For that, my friends, we need logic.
And the heart of that logic is the good old if-then statement. This is the script's decision maker. You can tell it something like, if a backup file from today already exists, then don't bother making another one. This simple logic is what makes your scripts smart and keeps them from making mistakes.
And for all those repetitive jobs, we've got loops. A while loop is awesome for monitoring something. You can tell your script, as long as my disk space is fine, just keep checking every few minutes. And until loop is great for waiting. You could say, keep trying to connect to that server until you finally get through. They're really just two sides of the same super powerful automation coin.
So, once you put these building blocks together, your commands, your variables, and your logic, what you've really done is created a small army of automated helpers that are ready and waiting to do your bidding.
And what can this army do? Oh man, the possibilities are practically endless. You can write scripts to automatically back up your critical data every single night. You could manage user accounts, keep an eye on your system for problems, or even have it generate and email you a status report every morning when you get your coffee. This is the real-world, practical power of shell scripting.
And that's really what this is all about. You now understand the fundamental language that your computer actually speaks to get work done. It's not some kind of dark magic. It's just a logical, powerful tool that you now have at your fingertips to build amazing things.
and, automate away all the boring stuff.
So, I'll leave you with a challenge. Think about that one repetitive, annoying task you have to do every day or every week, the one that makes you sigh every time. Now that you know the language, what's the first recipe you're going to write to make your computer do it for you? Thanks for tuning in.